Most people have a fear of roller coasters getting stuck while they are riding. This has unfortunately led to news agencies treating common ride stoppages as major news stories. Today we'll be looking at a few different examples of news coverage of ride stoppages and explaining what is really going on.
Well, stuck 200 feet in the air. It's what 64 people at Busch Gardens experienced for about an hour when SheiKra, the theme park's tallest roller coaster, malfunctioned, just stopped suddenly.
You can see right away how much they want you to react to this story. The scrolling developing story text and the all capital SheiKra got stuck at Busch Gardens, all while the reporter talks of a malfunction.
64 people stuck in two roller coaster cars high above Tampa. Sky Fox caught the terrifying sight and the daring rescue as one by one, riders were escorted off the car and toward a trolley that helped them down 200 feet.
Unrelated to the overall point of this video, but this is why I just love B&M coasters. The fact that riders did not even have to walk down because they designed a vernacular system for just this type of situation. Also, the fact that they had two trains downloaded on the lift really speaks to the efficiency this ride's capable of.
This is a picture Ryan Cannon took during the wait.
I didn't think I had a fear of heights, but I guess being up there was pretty scary.
Cannon, who spoke to us by phone Thursday, says the ride got stuck right before SheiKra's big drop.
We were just kind of going up there, and right before the drop, about 5 feet before, it just kind of stopped.
He says it took about half an hour before Busch Gardens workers could even make it up to reach the stranded riders.
I'm sure that was an intense half an hour with these news helicopters circling around them the whole time. But that's definitely one of the shortfalls of these floorless type of coasters. It does take a while to evacuate them, as you have to build a floor for the riders to stand on. That involves moving large metal platforms and assembling them in the correct place in the train. It takes a good amount of time and also a lot of training, so parks with coasters like this spend extra time doing evacuation training with their operations and maintenance teams, just because of how involved this can be. Infamously, in fact, one of these platforms was left on the track area for Superman at Fiesta, Texas, and was actually hit by the train. And you can hear just by the sound of the video how heavy these things are.
Riders.
It was pretty scary. I mean, everyone's kind of up there, kind of joking about it, and then kind of time passes and we're kind of starting to get freaked out.
The theme park using vehicles specially designed to evacuate people stuck on the ride, while witnesses like Rufus Denny watched from below.
It was a lot of commotion, everybody looking at the people, some of the people screaming.
Busch Gardens says all riders were safely removed from the coaster. No one was injured during the ordeal, they say, and they're looking into what caused the ride to malfunction.
So of course, nobody was injured. If you couldn't tell by the news' own reporting, this ride was very much designed with this in mind. In fact, this is where these two trains should stop if the ride suffers any kind of problem. This could be something as serious as a mechanical failure of some kind, or as minor as a simple controls issue, such as a malfunctioning sensor. Now mind you, if there is a minor problem, it will likely simply be fixed and the ride restarted rather than the evacuation scene here taking place.
As for Ryan, he's not so sure he'll take a chance on SheiKra again.
I'm offered as actually a kind of a fast pass thing to get back on SheiKra, but I don't know if I want to go on the ride anytime soon. Might have to take a break.
And Busch Gardens saying tonight they are still trying to figure out exactly what caused SheiKra to stop and get stuck, but they say that that means that their safety protocols that were in place worked. That's what's supposed to happen. The ride is supposed to stop when something malfunctions. Live in Tampa, Evan Lambert, Fox 13 News.
So that video was from 2016. Let's take a look at a little bit more recent example from just over 2 months ago.
Roller coaster ride turns into a very scary situation as several people stuck in the air for what seemed like an eternity. Colton Molesky now has more on the Cedar Point evacuation and their journey back to safety.
Well, 7 years later, and you can see not much has changed. Families stuck on coaster, banner running, and the reporter saying, scary situation. That being said, calling this a scary situation is definitely a lot more accurate than calling it a malfunction.
Look at this video. An unscheduled stop for riders on the Magnum XL200.
So my immediate reaction, I said out loud, was, is this supposed to happen?
Lana Cafago was at Cedar Point with family Monday. The roller coaster enthusiast stuck with her stepson 20 to 30 minutes.
But it was the not knowing what was happening next. That was kind of the most frustrating part. because it took them a while before they came over the speakers to say that they were sending maintenance.
Cafago says the coaster even jolted to life at one point, briefly moving before stopping again. Shortly after, she describes a hairy evacuation.
Stairs were definitely the hardest part, walking down those stairs. My legs are still very sore.
It's crazy to me that this ride and SheiKra are nearly the same height, but SheiKra has a significantly better system for evacuations. I am lucky enough to have both walked these stairs and been at a dive coaster vernacular, much like SheiKra's. And honestly, if I knew nothing about rides and I was being evacuated, I would much rather end up taking the vernacular.
That was definitely very, very awkward.
I didn't really think I was actually going to be taking the, a lot of steps down.
What did the Cafagos get for their trouble? A Fast Pass voucher for one ride.
I think it's kind of hilarious that at two completely different parks 7 years apart, the compensation for getting evacuated off of a ride is the exact same.
So would you go back to Cedar Point and ride roller coasters, or is that this ruined it for you?
Oh, I would. I would definitely go back to Cedar Point. Yes, I would definitely come visit Cedar Point again.
Oh yes, absolutely. You know, things happen. I'm not gonna let this stop me from having the thrill of more roller coasters.
And Colt Molesky, 19 News.
A Fast Pass voucher? Well, we did reach out to Cedar Point for a statement on the incident. We haven't received a response.
I also think it's funny that the news takes offense to the compensation offered, but no one who was actually there seems to mind at all. But between those two examples, I think we've gathered a good idea of what the average news reporting on a situation like this looks like. In reality, these stops are occurring in areas where rides are designed to stop if the slightest issue is detected. Roller coasters cannot stop during the ride layout in areas they are not designed to do so without extreme outside factors impacting them. Those types of situations, such as a coaster train valleying due to extreme winds, are very rare events and really do make sense for the news to cover. However, ride stoppages along control points, such as lift hills and brakes, are common occurrences that happen pretty much every day at most parks. They occur when any type of fault occurs. This could be a mechanical issue, an electrical issue, or a controls issue. In any case, the ride is safe and so are all the riders on the ride. The ride is designed to stop in these areas to prevent an actual incident from occurring. Think of it like a check engine light in your car. For example, a ride could stop a train on the lift hill due to a malfunctioning sensor in the next section of track reading as having a train in it, even though it's clear. In this situation, there's no danger to riders at all, but the ride is designed to take the extra precaution and stop so ride maintenance can assess the situation. In times where this evaluation or repair may take a long amount of time, generally any longer than about 10 or 20 minutes, riders will likely be evacuated from the stopped train in order to prevent rider discomfort and to minimize the downtime's impact on the guest's stay. That is the reason behind these news stories and ride stoppages. The news will continue to report on stories like this, but you can do your part by staying educated on what these ride stoppages actually are. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time.